What's up, Saab fans around the world, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video we are going to detail the car. We are going to put the entire car back together, install the lights, install the side skirts, the newly painted front bumper that you might see behind me. You could have a quick look at that. It looks so good. So from afar it will look completely black, but when you get up close you will see the carbon fiber looking through. I could have done a lot more work on this to get it perfected, but time is running out. So I sent this to Autolack in Kalmar and they did a fantastic job. Look at this matte finish on the bumper. This is actually painted, but it looks like the OEM plastic. So really good. New clear coat on the side skirts. Well, these also look really good. So what we are going to do today is we are going to fix the hood of the car. I'm going to detail the entire car, but to show you something, then I will just work all over the car. But to show you how to touch up and fix a really bad hood. Because here you can see, I bet this is the original paint on the car, and this is like 24 years old. And it has been standing against this wall with a lot of stuff above it. So a few scratches that we will see if we could buff out or if we need to wet sand and fill with paint. So here is what we have to work with today. This is the touch-up paint kit from Bilfärg.se. I will put a link to a 25% discount code if you want to use this yourself and try it out. So the kit comes with a bottle of color, a hardener, then some silicone wash to clean the surface, and something to suck up the paint with, and the hardener, and then a little mixing cup and a few brushes as well to get in to those hard to get to places. So this is perfect for like stone chips. Then we have a bunch of wet sanding paper. So we have 1000 grit and 2500, which is a pretty big step. I should have something in between as well, but this is what I had right now. Then we have some Abralon discs. So this is soft discs that you use for wet sanding as well. So this is 3000 grit, and then we also have 4000 grit, which is a bit too high. You really don't need this. 3000 will be easy to buff off. Then we have the Refurbish machine. We have a clay bar that I have put in a bucket of water. This is hot water, so it will be a lot easier to work with. If you're doing clay barring of your car, try this method out and thank me later, because this is so much easier. So we are going to wet sand the entire hood because it's so scratched up. It might look okay on camera, but you will see the difference when I have polished this surface later. And we have some bad stone chips. So this will be sanded down. Then we will fill them with paint. But first, to make it more obvious what we are going to fill in, we are going to sand down each and every one, then wet sand the hood, then all of the stone chips will be like visible. Then we will add some paint into each and every one of them, maybe not the smallest ones, because they will not be too visible. And then we will wet sand over the painting once again and then polish, and we should see what kind of result we will get, because this is the before And now we will start clay bar, wet sand, add some paint, wet sand again, and then start the polishing. So for the polishing, I said we had the Refurbish, we have a couple of Tearshine polishing discs, we have the spray polish from Tearshine, and to clay bar I'm using some mixed up Apex Plus. So this is like a quick detailer, and it has been mixed with like, it's 10% of the product maybe, and then the rest of it is water to lube up for the clay. So we will start with the clay bar. So now I will use 1000 grit wet sanding paper to go over all of the bigger rock chips very carefully. Now you can see actually where we have gone over all of the stone chips, not all of them, but the bigger ones has been sanded down around the edges, and we have wiped off everything from the surface. So now the surface is completely exposed. So now we are going to mix up a little bit of the paint and then go over each and every little stone chip and fill it up with paint, so the paint actually is slightly above the area, so we have something to sand on with the wet sand, so it gets leveled once we have sanded it. Now you can see we have like a million small little dots, and I have waited overnight so all the touch-up paint could really cure. And at some spots we have like a bit too much paint, but that's really not an issue, because right now we are going to start to sand all of this down, and I'm going to use 2500 grit by hand and then go over to the Abralon pad with 3000 grit to finish off. So this is a soft pad, so this will not like change the texture, but a regular wet sanding pad will flatten it down. So we will start with that, and I guess this will take a bunch of time, so I will show you a little bit in the video and then you will see the end result once everything is sanded. entire hood has been wet sanded and all the high spots has been taken down. So it looks terrible right now. So now we will start the process with try to bring back the shine and try to bring back that deep black gloss into the hood. So it has been sanded by hand with 800 grit in some places, 1000 grit, 2500 grit, and then 3000 and 4000 with machine. So there should be steps in between those. So I think there might be a chance that I have to redo this afterwards, but we will just continue and try to do the best of the situation right now. I have some more sanding paper on order, but that will take a few days to arrive, so we will just go ahead and start to polish. And we are going to use the spray polish together with the heavy cut compound. And I think this should be able to take like scratches down to 1500 grit. So there is a chance that we might be able to get a really smooth and nice finish to this. So let's just start. You can see the first couple of passes and it looks quite promising. So it goes from this state right here to this like mirror shine right here. So this is what we want. It's quite some hard work, but when you see it like this, you know it will be quite good in the end. So now I have done half of the hood, and you know what they say, looks good from afar but far from good. That's how I would describe this, because as I suspected, some of the scratches are too deep, so I need that middle type like 1500, 2000 grit sandpaper in between to get it perfect. But for a starter, I think this will work. So this is just the first pass with the heavy cut. Then we will go over with the fine cut or the medium cut and the fine cut as well. But this has taken some hours to buff off, so if you're planning to do this at home or try it on your car without getting back at me, I would suggest that you try it on a small area of the car or a small part and see how it reacts, because this requires some time and effort to get all the scratches off. And this hood is by any means not perfect. I have some of these that are down in the paint. I think the camera can't really focus on it, but you will see that there is like, I don't know why the paint is like that, but it's cracking up. So the best way would have been to just repaint the hood, but then we're at that stage again that it would have been the best to just repaint the car. So we would polish it, we would do the best we can, and then we will roll with that. This is the final result of the hood. I ended up just doing one buffing, then added a little bit of wax to it to protect the surface, because I'm not really satisfied with how this turned out. I don't think it will be catched on camera really, but I'm gonna go over this once again prior to the Saab festival. Now we got all the touch-up paint in, but I want to sand it down so it's 100% flat and not visible, because right now you can still see them. Of course there is no rust, but you got dots all over the hood, and in some places the scratches are a little bit too deep. So I'm gonna leave it like this for now, and I'm going to continue with the rest of the car because I have a lot of stuff to do rather than just polishing on the car, because there is a lot of inspections that need to go through. The car needs to be up and running, which is much more important than to polish the car. It will be really sad to polish the car and miss the Saab festival because the car is not inspected. So now we got to prioritize, but it turned out quite okay, I would say. So you can leave a comment down below what you think, and be careful before you start to wet sand. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.